All right, and welcome back to the channel. I am here today with Carson McCamey for another one-on-one coaching session. How you doing, Carson?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Pretty good, thanks. So before we get started, usually well, in the past we've jumped right into the script readings, but I wanted to get your story a bit before we start. So why don't you start just by telling me a little bit about your voiceover experience, how much experience you have, who you've coached with, where you've coached, if you've coached, all that kind of stuff. How long you been doing it for?
Um, I've been doing voiceover for on and off for around 10 years.
Okay.
Um, I actually it all really started when I was really young. I was a kid. I just sat around mimicking voices and characters and stuff like that. And it eventually just kind of progressed from there.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
and actually, let's see. I've never had any formal coaching. Um,
Really?
Yes. I'm right from the rip, all self-taught. Um, the most formal experience I'd had was for several years. I worked in the film industry in Atlanta. Actually, my wife and I both did. We worked for The Walking Dead. For
That's so dope.
It was fun. It was fun. We had a lot of good times. It was also miserable a lot of the times.
Why was it
Uh,
miserable?
well, I don't know how much time you've spent in the South, but
I haven't actually. I'm originally from Canada. I live in New York, so like
uh,
the furthest south I've been, I guess, is Florida. I don't know, or
uh,
California. Never to Georgia.
well, the heat gets real, and the thing about The Walking Dead is they film a lot of winter scenes or
Uh-huh.
cold scenes, and the majority of the time they film is between like April and November, and so you're standing around in 110, 115 degrees wearing 3 or 4 layers of winter clothes.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, and the filming hours probably uh, anywhere from 12 hours, 16 hours. We've even worked 20-hour days. So
God.
yeah, it gets brutal, but you get a lot of cool stuff out there, man. They do a lot of cool stuff. They let you do a lot of cool stuff. There are always explosions, and it's a super cool experience.
Did you get
I
to meet like Rick Grimes or the actor that plays Rick Grimes and like all those guys? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've gotten to meet pretty the vast majority of the guys. I've met Rick or Andy, Norman, Daryl, who is awesome, by the way.
Norman Reedus, you met him?
Yes,
So
fantastic, super cool. Actually, the first my first day on set, it was somewhere towards seasons. It was somewhere in season 6,
uh-huh.
and that was I don't know if you knew this, but up until that point in season 6, the walkers didn't make their own the that sound they make.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They did none of them actually did any of that. It was all digitally inserted in post.
Really?
And yes, and I was there the first time they did it, and they just kind of said, action, just have at it. And I knew I was going to scare somebody, but so I made the sound. Apparently, it was pretty convincing because Norman was actually leaning against his bike, probably about 10 feet away from me, and he
Yeah.
and he hopped off and he pulled out his phone. Started. So
That's
that
so cool.
yeah, so it was, but yeah, you have a lot of interaction with a lot of the main cast, the crew, for extended periods of time because they like to bring guys back for
That's so cool, man. I'm
multiple shots.
legit like fanboying out right now because I love The Walking Dead. But let's jump back into voiceover here. Now, the one reason I kind of chuckled a bit when you told me you hadn't had any coaching before is because uh people don't know this is watching this, but you sent me your demo ahead of time and I listened to both your animation and your commercial demo, and it's great. It's awesome. I mean, listen, it could be produced a little bit better, but so could mine. But your reads, like some of them, I was like, wow, I don't know if I could do a read that good. Now, I can't speak about animation in video games, because that's not where I do my bread and butter, and I'm not qualified to talk about that stuff. But as far as commercials go, I've done well over 1,000. I know my stuff, and yeah, your reads were fantastic. So to tell me that you haven't had any coaching before, I love hearing that because that's how I started. I didn't get any coaching either.
I
However, I'm a trained actor though, so maybe that helped a little bit. But that's so cool. So how did you start figuring it out? You said you were just mimicking, like you heard radio spots and you just wanted to, like, emulate what you heard, or how did you
yeah,
figure?
yeah. What it was, I didn't have much of a life as a kid, so yeah, I would watch movies and stuff, and I
Mm.
would hear. I don't know why I paid attention to voices so much, but yeah, I would hear a voice or a character or something that sounded interesting, and I'd sit there and I'd start seeing how close I could get to it, and eventually, um, I owe all credit to Andy Serkis for his performance
In Lord
and
of the
Lord of
Rings.
Yes, that
Cool,
was
man.
that's what got me going. Started there, and around the time I got into like The Walking Dead and all that stuff, people started telling me, because I'd added stuff to the list, but uh, when I got around to that point, there were a lot of people telling me like, "Hey, you should probably get into voiceover, start voice acting." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a thing people."
That's how it starts.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so you said you've been doing it for 10 years. Now let's talk about the commercial side of it. Have you had a lot of work in those 10 years through commercials? Have you done a lot of stuff?
I've done a couple of things.
Okay.
There was only I can only think of one commercial off the top of my head.
Just one?
It, yes, it was for a German tool company called Boyko. They had
Okay.
just opened at, or a location near where I was living at the time, and I guess they were in the middle of doing filming an advertisement, and they just posted a casting call, and I put in for it. I did an audition. I got it, and it was from there. But nothing national, nothing really.
That's okay. Like, I think I'm more concerned about volume than I am about the size of the job, because the size of the job is largely out of your control. You're either going to book it or you're not. If you focus in on just trying to get one job at a time, and especially if it's like a big job and you're really going for it, that can often push the job away. What you need to do is try and book a large volume of jobs. And within that large volume of jobs, you'll get national commercials, you'll get local commercials, you get huge campaigns, and you'll get smaller campaigns. But I think in the voiceover world, it's more advantageous to approach it as a machine gun sort of method rather than a sniper's mentality, because you're just, the odds are you're not going to book most of the jobs that you go for. You just can't. But you're very talented. And what is it that's holding you back? Like, let me put it this way. When you're really cooking, you were like, I'm going to do this. How many auditions a day were you doing, and where were you getting them from?
Um, at my peak in terms of seeking, I was doing probably 10, 15 a day
Okay.
when time. Um, and for a little bit, I was getting consistent auditions from voices.com,
Mhm.
casting call club. Casting call club was a big one. Uh,
They do a
and
lot of
there was
animation and video games you find on there, right? For people that are listening, that's one of the places you can go. The budgets aren't huge, but did you find any that were okay?
Yeah, I got there was one that I ended up doing that was for a YouTuber. He does Roblox animations.
Mhm.
And he actually found me, and he sent me an email asking if I would be the villain in his newest animation, which actually ended up being pretty popular. It I don't know if I can see. It was called the poor. It was the poor within riches is what it
Mhm.
was called. Um, that was a good one. And then there were a couple of audio dramas that I got cast in. I do not remember what they were called. I don't remember much.
Okay.
They were a while back.
Okay. Well, what I want to do is I want to get you back into it, and I want to tell you that, like, listen, where you're starting, just put it this way, like, you've got some experience behind you, but I want you to think of starting anew. And when you're starting anew, what I want you to do, and I think this will change everything for you, especially if you want to do this full time, get back onto voices.com if you don't already have a membership and do every single audition you can on there. And then once you get enough income from that and you have the budget, then get a membership over on Voice 123 at the highest level that you can afford. And then between the two, try and get, I would say, about 40 to 50 auditions a day if you can, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine from there. And then eventually get an agent. Then you have the holy trifecta: voices.com, voice 123, and your agent. Then you're flying. But let's jump into the script. So
Okay.
both of these are commercials. The first one here, I thought it'd be really good for your voice. It's for the History Channel, and I work for the History Channel. I do a show on there um, called Backroad Truckers. So I have some experience with what they're looking for. So when we first go through it, you don't need to perform it. Let's just read it for information and just take your time, go through it. Don't feel like you have to get it perfect. If you're making mistakes, just keep going. Then we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. Okay.
Okay, awesome, because there will be mistakes.
Great. I make mistakes all the time, every day, even with clients live on the line. Mistakes don't matter. It's how you react to them that matters. So go ahead
All right.
whenever you're ready.
If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be? Would you find new dreams or create wonders? What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives, when the past was today and the new took your breath away? Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love? Remembering every generation before us, remembering for generations to come. The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
Great. Good. You have a nice natural voice, very authentic delivery. Now we're going to spice it up a little bit.
Let's do
So,
it.
when we look at this script, we see things like, if you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be? What do you think? Because this is going to be a TV commercial. What do you think's being shown on screen? It's impossible to know for sure, but if you would take a guess, like what would you think?
I imagine a kind of a flashing of scenes,
Uh-huh.
a progression through time from nothing to a time of people in conflict and then just progressing forward from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Big timeline. Things
Mhm.
like if you fight your brother for the rights of another, maybe knights in armor, or even in, like, Spartans fighting, and, um, epicness, maybe.
Yes, all things epic.
Yeah. So the thing about it, TV, that kind of makes it difficult is that when you get something like this and it's got an epic feel to it, you can't out epic what's happening on the screen because it'll just clash. So you
Yeah.
have to get it just right. So I need you to put some more weight in your voice,
Okay.
slow the read down a bit, take your time with it, and just as you're saying those lines, have the pictures of what you think might be going on running through your head, because that will help inform how the delivery is coming out of your mouth.
Okay. Fantastic. All right.
Welcome to your first ever coaching session.
Whoa!
I love this. This is great.
It'll be a memorable one. That's for sure. All right.
So let's just start with, let's do the first two lines from if you lived before our time all the way to through the next line, would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be? Just those
Okay.
first two lines. Mhm.
Okay. If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be?
Good. Now, take the character a bit out of your voice. When I say the epicness, that doesn't necessarily mean put a character on, although that could be a choice, and that was a good character that you were doing. I think your voice is good enough as it is. So when I say epicness of it, maybe, I guess, the drama of it, play the drama. I think that is maybe a bit of a better choice. And just lower the register of your natural voice. Don't put a character on, and slow your delivery down, and that should do it.
All right, we'll give her another go. If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be?
Great. Great. On track. Now this time, do it again. And when you say who would you be, really ask it like, who would you be? You don't need to put too much weight behind that. Ask the person, like as if you're really asking the viewer, as if you are face to face with them, they're watching, and you're just saying, who would you be? The
Okay,
less you put on that and the more you ask that question, the more effective it will be.
okay, all right. If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be?
Great. Now, again, and this time, when you say the second, who would you be? I want you to emphasize who and put a little bit of a beat, a pause between that and the rest of it. Do you
Okay,
understand?
I do understand. Okay.
Okay.
If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be?
Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the next part here.
Okay.
Would you find new dreams or create wonders? Keep the epicness, but I want you to give me a half of a smile on it, like as if something fantastical is about to happen.
Okay.
Find new dreams and create wonders. And like, what's going on the screen? Is there wizards and magic or anything, any kind of imagery like that will help.
Okay. All right. Would you find new dreams or create wonders?
A little bit more of a smile.
Okay. Would you find new dreams or create wonders?
Great. Now let's move on to the next line. You're doing awesome. What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives when the past was today and the new took your breath away? Just give me that line. I want to hear how you do it before I give you any direction because you're kind of in the zone right now.
Okay. Thank you. What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives when the past was today and the new took your breath away?
Very good. Okay, great. Now, this time on the second 1,000 lives, I want you to give me an upglide
Okay.
and let it hang a bit. And what I mean is like almost as if you're going to continue on, but you don't. So like 1,000 lives. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Not to give you a line reading.
No, you're good. You're fine. What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives when the past was today and the new took your breath away?
Great. Now with this, go again. I want you to say the last part when the past was today and the new took your breath away. Say it as one line, not fast, slower, and bring your volume down purposefully when you get to that part. I want to hear how
Okay.
that sounds. It might not work, but I have a hunch it could.
I'll, I'll trust your instincts.
Well, the thing is, what we're trying to do is make it more dynamic without it sounding unnatural. It's tough
Okay.
to do, but it's important to do because if you can do that, you're going to stand out from the many people that will be very good and do it as just a natural read, or they'll just do it as an epic read. But if you can nail both of those and have levels all the way through, the director is going to hear that and go, wow, this person is doing my job for me. They're highly creative and I can definitely direct them. You're signaling that. So when they hear it, they go, let's hire this person. They know what they're doing.
Okay. Awesome. Yes. Yes.
So
Hire them.
let's hear it. Let's hear the
All right.
laughs.
Let's see. What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives when the past was today and the new took your breath away?
That was great. There was a bit of a something happened with your microphone, but can we do it one more time?
Yeah.
Just for people could hear it because there
Okay.
something happened with your mic. I think you hit it or something, or there was like a glitch over the internet.
Oh, no. Shocker. All right. All right. What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives when the past was today and the new took your breath away?
Great. Continue with the next line.
Okay. Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love?
Great. Now with this one, to try something a little different, speed it up a bit. I don't think that's right, but speed it up a bit and make sure each one of those is different. Who would you be? How would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love? Each one has to be different, but speed it up a bit. Let's say this is a point where in the video, because it's in the middle of the commercial, maybe it's coming to a crescendo.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see how that feels.
All right. Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love?
Great.
Want to go? All right.
Now let's go on to the next part.
Okay.
Remembering every generation before us. I want you to hit every generation. And this is like you're driving it home now, you know,
Okay.
almost anthemic.
Okay. All right. Remembering every generation before us.
Great. Next, and go on to the next one. It's even bigger.
Okay. Remembering for generations to come.
It's too similar. We got to top the last one.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you go, here's one way you can do it. Remembering every generation before us. Don't put a pause in there because if you're going to put a pause in the second one to try and top that first, it's going to come across the same. So just
Okay.
remembering every generation before us. Remembering for generations to come. You see?
Okay. Yes. Yes, I do. Remembering every generation before us. Remembering for generations to come. The
Drop the
history.
line. Yeah. Drop the line. Sorry, I jumped in. Let's hear it.
All right. All right. I'll go back
Do
to
it
the
again.
first.
Do it again. I won't interrupt. Sorry.
So, all right. Remembering every generation before us. Remembering for generations to come. The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
Okay, when you say the way the past comes alive, you've got to you draw the big impact is the History Channel. Imagine those words, boom, coming down on top of a mountain in front of the viewer, and they're like, "Whoa!" And then you
All right.
just say the rest of the tagline, just real natural, just where the past comes alive, like almost like you're shrugging it off. So you've already
All right.
got, we're like, what the hell? What's going on? They've just seen battles and wizards and your voice, and then the History Channel like comes crashing down on the mountain. They're like in the chair, like, oh my God, what the hell? And here's the tagline. And you don't have to push it, you just say it.
Like I can't handle anymore. All right.
Yeah.
The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
Great. Great. Now I got to tell you, we're walking a fine line between being dynamic and being an announcer, but I think this calls for it. I mean, it's the History Channel. There's weight to it. You're talking about history, and your voice is so good and so resonant. And I think honestly, you could do movie trailers. I don't teach movie trailers. There's some people out there I won't get his name right now, so I won't say it, but I'll tell you after this, I'll research it, make sure I get it. But like he would be a good guy to talk to. Because I think you could do movie trailers. I don't think I could, maybe like Disney, but you could like do some serious trailers. So let's do the whole thing. Um, we've worked it quite a bit. So if it comes out different, don't worry about it. Don't try to recreate what we just did. Just take sort of the idea of what we were doing and then
Okay.
just relax and let it rip and see what happens and trust your instincts because you got good instincts.
Thank you. All right. Here goes. If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be? Would you find new dreams or create wonders? What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives, when the past was today and the new took your breath away? Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love? Remembering every generation before us, remembering for generations to come. The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
Great. Now we're going to go one last time on this one before we move on to Purina.
Okay.
It's gonna be a totally different spot. Um, let's start even lower, like even more natural, because it becomes so epic, almost conversational. Like, if you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you
Okay. And then
and then build it throughout? Yeah.
okay. If you lived before our time, who would you be? Would you fight your brother for the rights of another? Who would you be? Would you find new dreams or create wonders? What if you could choose from 1,000 yesterdays, 1,000 lives, when the past was today and the new took your breath away? Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you live? Who would you love? Remembering every generation before us, remembering for generations to come. The History Channel, where the past comes alive.
That was fantastic. Man, you were really good at this. Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't be working all the time. Honestly, I think it comes down to just, putting in the effort and putting in the work and just making sure you're consistent at it on a daily basis. I don't listen, we can always every single person in voiceover, even people that have more credits than me that are working more than me, can always get better. You can always work to get better at your reads, but you are at a baseline right now where you can work. You're already good to go and you can follow direction, which is like one of the biggest parts of it. If you can't, you can have an incredible voice, but if you can't follow direction, you're gonna have a hard time doing the bigger jobs because you have to work with the director. Um, and
Understand.
listen, this, if you haven't worked with a director and you don't know if you're directable, it comes over time. You just got to do it. Like, it's something you can get better at. So let's jump into Purina One brand. That's what we're doing next, which has a completely different feel to it. Uh,
Yes.
let's read it once through, and then we'll talk about it, just
Okay.
like the first one.
All right. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat, great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
Okay, so your initial read, I gotta tell you, like you've got a real pure quality to your voice. It veers on the announcer side, and I think that's probably from trying to emulate a lot of the, voiceovers and actors and stuff like that that you've heard throughout your life. And that's a choice. Like, that could be a version of this commercial. I don't think that's it though. What I think, and I know we were just reading through it once. I'm just saying that because that could be a take on it. Um, I think it's more guy next door. So it's you at your most earnest and charming. But before we get into that, what's going on here with this? Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat, great news for your canary. Why is that line? Why does it say that? What's going on?
It sounds like someone's cat has bad history with the birds, with the house pets.
Exactly, right? Cats eat birds. So it's got chicken, which is a bird,
Yeah,
in the food. So the
the best.
food is so good, the cat's gonna prefer the Purina One with chicken in it over the bird, over the live bird, right?
Oh,
That's how good it is. And what else? What's a famous cat that's always trying to eat a bird?
it's always trying to eat a bird. That
Mhm.
would be, uh, oh no. Oh, is it Sylvester? Was that his name? Sylvester? Oh no, it's been so long. I can't. I can't think of it.
Wasn't it Tom and Jerry? I know Jerry's the mouse, but Tom's always trying to eat the canary, right? In the cartoons, am I right? I don't know.
I think there are some very I think there are some variations where he does because I think it was Sylvester that's typically going after
That
Tweet.
is right. You're right. Not Tom and Jerry. Sylvester the cat. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. You are correct, sir. Okay. So, with that in mind, just think about like that coyness of like all of the things that he does. And this might be the commercial. I don't think it is. They'll probably use a real cat so that people can um uh if they can find some common ground between the cat that's on TV and the cat that they have in their own place. But I would imagine that they'll have like, the music that they'd always put on like those cartoons. Doom, 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 doom. So the cat's probably picture the cat like while you're talking, the cat's like do 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 going like this, and it's like looking and seeing the bird in the cage, and then it spots the Purina and is trying to choose which
Choose-
one do I go
Yeah.
for, and then ends up going for the food because it's so much better than the live bird. So that's the kind of sort of levity and humor, and we need like a real person voice and guy next door qualities to it, some charm and some you're in on the joke. You get the joke, you know what I mean? So there's a little bit of wryness in your voice, like you know what's going on here, you know?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay,
All
so
right.
give it to me. Give me the whole thing. We're not going to go line by line. You're too good for that. Not
Oh,
saying that anybody has to go line to line. I'm just saying you're experienced, I guess, is what I'm saying. Not too. You're more experienced than a lot of people I've worked with.
well, I appreciate that. That's my ego's going sky high right now. All
Good.
right. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
Great, great. I need a little bit more levity on great news for your canary because your voice has like you've almost got like a Don LaFontaine kind of like quality to it where it's like it can sound almost like a chainsaw at times. So like when you're getting serious, it's like you turned great news for your canary into like a horror trailer. You're like, good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. I was like, whoa.
Oh, it was good.
So you're gonna watch, you gotta make sure you just like lighten it up a bit. Lighten it up a
All
little bit
right.
more. Don't forget the cat's like it's all fun. Do 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 do.
All right. Visualizing.
Yeah, and big smile on your face. Big smile. It's all fun. No birds get eaten and no birds were harmed in the filming of this commercial or in the recording of this VO.
Allegedly. All right. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it.
Okay.
Purina One. Oh,
No, all good. Sorry, I cut you off there. Okay, okay, not bad. Not bad. Now I want to add another element to it that's going to bring it a little bit more alive.
all right.
They can hear you and you don't want to disturb them. You're like, it's almost like you're doing like National Geographic in a way. Keep all the qualities you have. Don't go into announcer land. Conversational, you're a real person, but don't disturb the cat. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real like not don't copy me. I'm not trying to give you a line reading. I'm just giving you an example of what I mean.
No, I like
Like
that.
you're there with them. You don't want to disturb. Like it's almost like, you're filming it and you're just talking to the viewer.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Cool. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a special, for a complete adult diet with your.
It's all good. Let's go again. Don't whisper. You don't need to whisper it. Just keep the volume down a bit. You just don't disturb them. That's all.
Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Great news for your. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
Now, again, this time, don't emphasize any of the words.
Okay,
Do everything you're doing just real conversational. Don't put any more emphasis on any of the words. The script will do the work for you.
cool. Purina One special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
Great. Now let's go to the one line for a complete diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants. Give him Purina One special formula. I want you to spit out that whole line from for a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants. Don't put any pause in there. Say that all in one breath. And then when you say give him Purina One special formula, say it with a shrug. Like, why
Okay,
wouldn't you? Give him Purina One special formula.
okay. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina Special One for a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants. Give him Purina One Special Formula. You
Now,
can narrate.
on, sorry, go back. And when you say the real chicken he wants, end on a down glide on wants. That's the end of it. So for a
Okay,
complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One.
okay. For a completed for a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One Special Formula. Your canary will thank you for it.
Purina One, second to none. Okay, so do the whole thing again. Remember that part. And then this time, when you get to that part, give him Purina One special formula. Literally shrug. Give him Purina One special formula. Literally shrug your shoulders when you do it. Okay? Whole
All
thing.
right,
Let's hear it.
whole thing. All right. Purina One Special Formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat, great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina Special One formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
Okay, now we're gonna do it. That was great. One more time, and this time, give me a quirky read. I know you want to get. I know you got some quirkiness in you. You want to let loose on it, so let's hear it. Give me something that I wouldn't expect, and don't go off the wall. But like, give me something based in reality.
Based in reality.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. Let's
yeah.
see.
We don't
Let's see.
need to hear Gollum do it. I don't need any Andy Circus on this one.
The French of her precious.
Or
All
maybe
right.
we do. Okay, give me the quirky one, then we'll hear Gollum do it.
Let's see. That would be fun. But all right. So just give you
Yeah, but
so
based is you though, right? So like when you're doing a quirky read, it's also kind of off the cuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just whatever floats your boat, whatever fancies you. Like for me,
okay.
if I was gonna do it kind of quirky, I'd be like 3-in-1 special formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat, great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One special formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none. See, that's kind of quirky for me. That's for me, not for you. That's my sort of quirky read
Okay.
too.
All right. I got you. All right. I got you. Purina One Special Formula for cats is made with real chicken. Good news for your cat. Great news for your canary. For a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, give him Purina One Special Formula. Your canary will thank you for it. Purina One, second to none.
That was great. That was a really good read. In fact, that was probably better than the ones I got you to do. Well done, man. Yeah, it's for you, like, I mean, I can teach you like tricks here and there, but honestly, I think it's putting in the work and getting in director sessions and just working with a director who's going to tell you to do certain things and why you're doing them. Like for instance, when I told you on that line for a complete adult diet for your cat and the real chicken he wants, and I told you to go on a down glide, that's also because you're going ending on an up glide when you go give him special Pure in 1 special formula, like that shrug, right? You can't go up and then up because it's going to sound weird. So you end on a down glide. And those are all technical things that you learn the more that you do it, the more that you work with directors. But yeah, you said you did one commercial before. Like you should, I mean, for doing it for 10 years, you should have thousands under your belt. And there's no reason you shouldn't. It's just putting in the effort and just going for it. So, any questions or any comments or anything like that before I hit? I'm going to stop recording after I ask you that question, and then we can chat off the record if you want.
Okay, awesome. That'd be fantastic. Um, no, I mean this was a very eye-opening experience. This was is definitely one for the books. there were definitely a lot of details in here that you had brought to mind that I really hadn't considered in a lot of the previous reads that I've done. Definitely not. So that's I'm gonna actually I'm definitely gonna take that forward and
Great.
apply to everything I do.
Yeah, there's like
That's
you just think about, there's look at like the details that are actually in the script and the details that aren't in the script. Just think about, you need to know whether it's a radio commercial or a TV commercial. If it's a radio commercial, you have to create the whole environment in the spot just with your voice and your intentions. For the TV, you can pull it back a bit because it's actually on the screen. People can see it, right? You're supporting rather than the lead. So there's little technical things like that, but just understanding where the jokes are that the copywriter wrote. And sometimes the copy is bad and you have to just make up your own stuff to try and make it come alive. But the main thing that I would say more than anything is you want to make sure that you sound like it's really you when you're doing it,
yeah,
unless they're asking for a character. You really want to sound like you and you want to come from an authentic place. And if you can do that, then you're way ahead of the game. Because even if you get the spot wrong, which I've done so many times in auditions, I still got hired because they're like, wow, you sound like a real person. We really like the sound of your voice. And they just hired me to see if I could do direction. Or sometimes they'll tell you what the read actually is if you get it wrong. And they'll ask for a second read with new direction. And you're like, oh, of course. So if you come from a real and authentic place, you'll work. And you can do that and you're highly directable. So that
well, thank you.
is your first ever coaching session.
Number
That's
one, first
awesome,
one.
man.
It was
Good
fantastic.
job.
Fantastic. I really, yeah, truly awesome. It was awesome.
Great. I'm going to do a quick sign off here and then we'll chat some more. So
Okay.
thank you very much for being on the show. And anybody who's got some value out of this, please like and subscribe and share it with some more people who might get some value out of that. Other than that, I've been Jesse Carroll, and we will see you in the next one.